Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Elena and today we're going to be setting up my bullet journals for the month of January. Now, if you've seen my previous video where I set up my life journal for the year of 2021, then you'll know I decided to go with the Disney theme throughout the whole year, and as such, I picked a different movie for each month. Now, this month's movie was Frozen, so I'll be using the first and second movie to inspire me for the spreads this month. So here you can see me setting up my monthly log, which is basically just a calendar. I'm using my stamp set to stamp out the numbers in each case, and then the days at the top of the calendar I did it using my computer on Microsoft Office. I downloaded this font I found on thatfont.com that's meant to mimic the title from the movies, and I actually did most of the headers for my spreads this way. So a while back I got this stationery set that comes with a bunch of background papers and stickers and printouts from my local craft store that's inspired by Frozen, and that's what you see me flicking through here. However, I can't quite decide what I want to do with my front page, so I'm just going to skip it for now and I'll come back to it later. Now, moving on to my money tracking spreads, on the left hand side I've got a simple money tracking grid. I've separated it into 4 weeks between my pay slips, and I've divided it into 4 categories. Now, the first 2 never really change. I've got groceries and then leisure. The third one changes every now and then depending on what big expenses I'm anticipating. Lately I've been saving up towards a new desk computer, seeing as my laptop is starting to die on me, so I've set it to that so I know how much money I've spent on it. The last one is extras. Now, I don't usually end up writing down any expenses on this one, seeing as most of mine tend to fit the first 3 categories. What I do write down on it every now and then is little notes, like for example, when I owe somebody money, I write down who and how much so I can pay them back in due time and not end up forgetting by accident. Now, I'm quite anal about where my money goes, and I write down every single transaction, whether that be cash or card, to the last penny. So when I add them up at the end of the month, both weekly and categorically, I know exactly where my money's gone. Now, on the right hand side page at the very top, I've got a list of my monthly set expenses, such as rent, bills, but also subscriptions like Fairyloot and Owlcrate. And usually what I do is I write down the date on which I've paid for them so that I don't accidentally end up forgetting one or paying for the same one twice. The grid you see in the middle of the page, that's my working hours log. I like to keep track of how many hours I do each week so that I can calculate at the end of the month how much I'm owed and see if it matches my pay slip. And at the very bottom of the page, I've just got a summary of all of this. I've got how much I've spent, how much I've saved up, and how much I got paid that month so that I can make all of these calculations very easily. The little calendar you see at the very corner bottom of the page, that's just so I can keep track of where I'm at in the month. Now, going back to my front cover page, I finally decided what I wanted to do with it. So I went online on Google Images and I found this beautiful picture of a snowflake from the movie, and I printed it out. And what I'm doing here is I'm coloring in the background to my monthly calendar so that it matches the picture I've printed, and it's so simple and yet so perfect, and I love the way it turned out. So moving on to the next spread, we're setting up my PayPal and Amazon spreads. This is where I keep track of what I buy, when I buy it, and how much I spent on both Amazon and PayPal. Mostly because on my bank statement, it doesn't show up what I've bought or anything. It just shows up Amazon and PayPal. So I like to keep track of what the money was spent on. This is mostly because I am, again, very anal about my money and I like to know where it's gone and how it was spent. In this spread, I also ended up using these foamy stickers I got on my local craft store, and I don't think I'll be using them again just because they raise up the paper and make it really inconvenient for writing down in the bullet journal afterwards. But, you know, you learn as you go, and now I know no raised stickers. So next spread we're setting up is my to-do, projects, notes, and brain dump spread. Now this spread is probably the easiest, simplest one I have. I'm just basically sticking down these beautiful snowflake stickers I got at the craft store as well in a sort of rainy pattern down the center. So next we're setting up my sleep tracker and my mood tracker. The way I track my sleep is very simple. I've got a grid. On the left hand side I've got the days of the month, and then at the top I've got the hours from 9 o'clock p.m. till 11 a.m. I've got 3 colors for good, average, and bad sleep, and I just fill out what times I've been asleep and the amount of hours I slept for, so I can keep track of my sleeping patterns. As for my mood tracker, I decided to leave it blank because I had this idea to draw a snowflake a day. I've got a color key again for my moods, from good to bad to anxious, and I just thought it was a nice idea to try and draw a snowflake a day and try and make it a different one every time. So moving on, we've got my daily and hobbies tracker. This is where I like to keep a record of how many times I've cleaned the apartment, watered the plants, done anything YouTube related, exercised, as well as keep track of how many times I've done certain hobbies like writing, reading, sewing, drawing, etc. There's more. Just because I'm very bad at remembering dates, so I could easily go an entire month without cleaning the apartment or watering the plants. So now I'm just going through all of the different stickers and items from that stationery pack I mentioned previously from Frozen 2, and kind of deciding where I want to fill out that middle blank space with. So now we're moving on to my YouTube spread, and this is where I keep track of all the videos I intend to post on my YouTube channel, and I keep track of if I filmed them, edited them, made the thumbnail, and if I've posted them and when I've posted them, just so I'm not going a very long time without posting anything, or again post like 3 or 5 videos too close together, so they're spread out a bit more evenly basically. And also I like to keep track of what kind of videos I've got in the making, because otherwise I get a bit overwhelmed. And then right next to it is the opening page for my weekly logs, which again I'm using the stationery set that I bought inspired in Frozen, and those cute stickers from the craft store. So now let's move on to the last spread for this month, and that's my actual weeks. So this spread is again super simple, just used up some of the background craft paper that I got from the stationery set, and then my stickers, and then I use these little gem stickers that I end up spreading and all over the spreads throughout the month and going a little bit crazy with them. But hey ho, I had them and I was probably not going to use them for another spread again, so I just thought, heck it, I'm going to use them all here. So as you can see, I'm just going back and using up the rest of the stickers I hadn't so far, and just little details here and there. I absolutely love how these spreads this month turned out, and I'm just, yeah, I'm in love. I'm kind of speechless. They came out a lot better than I thought they were going to come out, and I'm so happy with them. So now let's move on to my reading journal. As you may have guessed by now in the video, I have very much just gone with my gut and gone with the flow for these spreads. I just basically got a bunch of stationery things that reminded me of Frozen, and kind of discovered what I wanted to do with these spreads as I went along. So on the right hand side, I've got my title page, and I decided to leave some blank space in the middle so I can write down any quotes from books or series or movies that I watched throughout the month. And then on the left hand side at the top, I've got my days read calendar, and then I've got a very big blank space for all of the books that I read throughout the month. I like to print out the covers and then just glue them. I got this idea from Books with Chloe, and I think it just looks so pretty once it's filled up. So next we've got my movies, series and anime spread, and that's basically I think anything TV related, I guess. And it's just, again, I print out the posters for each series or movie or anime, and I just glue them on. Again, very much inspired from Books with Chloe, and I love the way it looks when it's filled up. I leave a little bit of space just so I can write down the title, the year and my star rating. So I do the same for my books as well, and for my books I leave some additional space so I can put a little bit of a comment on my thoughts on the book. And now for the final flip through. And that's it. I cannot stress enough how much I love how these spreads came out in the end. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye.